George Carlin tried to warn us about politicians 20 years ago. During the rant phase of his career, somehow he took horrifyingly true things and made them funny. Genius. Let's look how George Carlin changed over the years, because at first he was pretty conventional. Here he is in a picture standing from 1959. He was arrested in 1962 when Lenny Bruce was arrested in Chicago, and George refused to give his ID to the police. So he went to jail with Lenny Bruce. It was after that arrest that conventional George Carlin, the comedian, became the unconventional comedian that he eventually wound up being known so well for. I first saw him as the hippy-dippy weatherman on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, although he debuted that character, Al Sleet, on the Christmas Eve show of The Ed Sullivan Show. In the early 1970s, he came up with a routine about the 7 words you can't use on television, and that led to a fight that went to the Supreme Court and gave the FTC authority to limit what you could see on television in prime time. George was arrested 7 times for performing that routine. Here's how I remember him about the mid-1970s when he was the first guest host of the first Saturday Night Live show 50 years ago. And here is his rant about politicians later in his career. Listen and tell me if he isn't accurate.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't.
So rest in peace to George Carlin, who passed away in 2008. He's considered one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, although he's not for everybody, but he's for me. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.